Boston's Whitey Bulger, on the FBI's most wanted list for the past 16 years, is behind bars today. He was captured last night in Santa Monica, California. NBC 10 Chief I-Team reporter Jim Terracani is in the newsroom now. He says Bulger had some dealings with the old Patriarca crime family in Rhode Island years ago. Jim?
Well, Frank, while James Whitey Bulger's criminal operation with the Winter Hill Gang was centered mostly in Boston, he at one time had to call on the late Raymond Patriarca to help settle a dispute between his gang and a rival gang in Boston. The FBI arrested Bulger at this apartment complex last night in Santa Monica, California. Bulger grew up in South Boston. In 1952, he was arrested for a string of bank robberies in Rhode Island and Indiana. But following a stint in prison for that, Bulger began taking control of the Irish mob in Boston. He eventually gained control of the Winter Hill Gang by murdering some of that gang's rivals. At one point, Bulger turned to Raymond Patriarca of Rhode Island for help. Bulger needed to settle a dispute between his Winter Hill Gang and a rival gang in Boston. Patriarca sent one of his capos, Joseph Russo, as the mediator. And when Patriarca underboss Jerry Angiulo and his brother, who ran the Boston rackets for the Patriarca crime family, were busted by the FBI, Bulger saw a vacuum and stepped in to take control of organized crime in Boston. Bulger was also an FBI informant that caused the Bureau of Boston major embarrassment. One of the agents there, John Connolly, grew up with Bulger, and Bulger became one of his informants. But Connolly was finally convicted of tipping Bulger off to investigations aimed at him and his close organized crime friend Stephen the Rifleman Flemmi. Connolly is still in prison. This morning, the U.S. Attorney in Boston says Bulger's capture is highly significant for the FBI and for the families of the 19 people he allegedly murdered.
And this is a great day for Boston's law enforcement community. However, I do want to take a moment to remember the families of the victims named in the federal indictment who have waited years for justice. This is a pivotal moment in their lives.
Now, the FBI recently aired a public service announcement campaign focusing on Bulger's girlfriend, Catherine Krieg. On Wednesday, the FBI in Santa Monica received a tip from that campaign, and Bulger and the girlfriend were arrested a few hours later. Much more on the story later on in later newscasts. Jim Terracani, NBC 10 News.
And